What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast. I am your host, LeBron Stephen, but you call me LB, LBZ, L Boogie, Big Brian, B Ron, LB, Bronny, whatever you choose. Welcome to episode 43. We have a very special guest. Adonis Thomas is on the show today. Newark, New Jersey native, played his college football at the University of Toledo, where he was a mainstay and a star. Rushed for 578 yards and 18 touchdowns. Had an amazing preseason with the Browns, one of the best preseasons to date. And now is an entrepreneur and artist. Super, uber duper excited to have him on this show. Just sent him the link and waiting for him to jump on, and we will go to work. What's good with you, bro? You can hear me?
What's good, bro?
Hey, man, I appreciate you carving out the time, man. Happy Saturday.
Hey, same to you, man. Pleasure to meet you, man. We've been talking through the DMs and everything, but pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. I've been tapping into your music this past week, man. Just trying to get more of an inside look, man. So I'm excited about the conversation.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Hey, man, that mean a lot to me. Just dropping music out of nowhere. I mean, like a lot of my friends know I could drop, like I could put words together, but actually putting content together to distribute. It's been it's kind of nervous. You get nervous about it at first, but then when you hear the reviews from people, kind of like put your mind at ease. But I appreciate that.
Yeah. I know the artist vibes, man. Especially coming from an athlete to an artist, because you know what I'm saying, people kind of look at you crazy, like, man, why you doing music or why you do? Because I got into acting probably like 3 years ago, and I've done like a bunch of commercials and guest stars and little stuff, just climbing the ladder. But every time an athlete move into the arts, man, people always kind of look at you crazy, like, you think you could do that, or you think you could do that? Like, so it's always kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that because, once you play sports, like if you're from where you're from, people know you because you grew up there. But when you reach a certain level of football or basketball or whatever you got going on, you start meeting people that don't know you in that aspect. So when they hear different parts of your life or your upbringings and different things, that's like, damn, I never knew that. So it gets you out of that box, and then it kind of gets you to come into where you see yourself instead of where they saw you.
Right. Most definitely, man. I can definitely attest to that. Well, this is called the After Effect Podcast, and I started this about 7 months ago because I always felt like us as athletes, we have super powerful stories, but more importantly is the after effect, like when you have to figure out that transition out of sports. I've always felt I have an after effect or after, but I've always felt like it was minimized. Like people just kind of expect you just to, like, when it's over, and you just go get a job or go do this or go do that. And it's like, I always felt like it was minimized. So this is a platform for us to kind of, you know what I'm saying, share games, share experiences, share stories, and more so to try to push the culture forward.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Yeah. So I've always felt like we were more than athletes. So before I dive into your childhood, because I got a bunch of New Jersey friends, but we'll talk about that. I got let me get your take on just a couple current events, man. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl this year, and why? I know tomorrow's championship Sunday. It's only 4 teams left. Who do you have winning and why?
Man. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna be Mahomes versus A-Rod, and I feel like if they can control Tyreek Hill, they could win the game. Because Travis Kelce, I mean, he's very impactful. But if you can find a way to control Tyreek Hill in that deep ball, and you can control the clock, a veteran like A-Rod could beat the Chiefs.
I'm telling you.
But Brady can't. Brady, he don't turn the ball over like that in key moments. That's what saves him. But they're gonna lose to A-Rod, and then I don't really see Josh Allen. I don't really see him beating Mahomes and them. Like, they can't run the ball.
I don't see that either. I mean, I don't know, man. I would love to see the young GOAT versus the old GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes versus Brady. I would love to see that, but like you said, they in Lambeau. It's supposed to be like 12 degrees tomorrow, it's snowing, and you know that's A-Rod in his element, man. So I don't think they could beat the
But Tom
Packers
Brady, he was in Fox. He was in Foxborough.
all that
Foxborough
time.
doing the same thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Brady got, you know, he got experience playing in the cold, so like it ain't gonna be nothing to him. You know what I mean? But
it's gonna be a good game. You know, two quarterbacks that don't turn the ball over like that. But I'm still rooting for A-Rod, man. I'm still
yeah,
rooting for A-Rod.
yeah. I'm excited about tomorrow, man. I feel weird not having football today after the last 2 weekends having playoff football on Saturday.
Yeah, man, for real. Spoiled us because I mean, at one point in time, with the makeup games, you had games in the middle of the week,
Man, you had them on
followed by like
Tuesday.
college. Yeah, you got college teams playing on Wednesdays, NFL teams playing on Tuesdays, NFL teams playing on Thursdays.
Right.
It was nonstop football at one point in time.
Right.
So
Hey,
now it's just like there's nothing else to watch, man.
right. Hey, you use the perfect word, spoiled. We was spoiled, but we had football on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then Thursday. You know what I mean? It's just
Definitely,
like you said, all those makeup games, man. So let me ask you
definitely.
this: we were both born in 1989. We've never had to walk through a coronavirus pandemic. We've never had to wear masks. We've never seen the world shut down. So like, how have you had to grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, just you know, just as a man and as a black man over these last what almost 11 months? We're literally almost at a year walking through this. So how have you had to grow during this time?
I mean, honestly, what helped me get through this time is I don't know if you ever been injured before playing sports or had like been sidelined for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So basically, it was kind of like when I had broke my femur in high school. You know, I was
Okay.
like isolated. Like I was
Yeah.
like isolated. You know, bedridden. I couldn't get out the bed. Needed help to navigate and everything. But it just like I kind of like was able to learn more about myself, learn more about sports, and learn more about different things because I had nothing but time on my hands.
Right.
So when COVID first happened, you know, you couldn't really go out, you couldn't really do much of nothing. It was easy for me to like shut down and start basically like reading more, catching up on current events that really impact the world. Trying to just trying to get involved in different business ventures and stuff like that. It really gave me the chance that I needed to slow down because prior to that, you know, everybody just there's always something to do. You know, it's always something to do. Since it wasn't really anything to do, it's just like you're going to either try to maximize your potential or you're just going to just stay the same. So I mean, I just use that time to maximize my potential.
Right. Same here, man. I can attest to that. Like you said, just feeling more so isolated and just having to, like you said, catch up on events, read more, just pick up whatever hobbies that you kind of lost, you know, just on that daily grind, on that daily hustle, and just like you said, man, business ventures and just figuring things out, man. So, yeah, that's dope. Last question, bro. What is your take? I know you graduated from a MAC school. I graduated from a Big Ten school. What's your take on Deion Sanders kind of like taking that leap of faith and coaching at an HBCU, kind of putting HBCUs on? You know, I feel like it's been talked about a lot in the media that, you know, HBCUs, they don't have that platform. You know, we never hardly see their games on ESPN or ABC or anything like that. Take on Deion going to HBCU.
Me personally, I feel as though that's like a power move depending on who he can get on board with him. Just more so because Deion Sanders is a very, 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 very powerful person when it comes to our community. I'm sorry, my phone is just tripping right now.
Oh yeah, no,
He's a very, very powerful person when it comes to the African American community. And as far as like different age ranges, you know, the young guys who never was around him, they want to emulate him. A lot of guys that was born after '96, they don't know anything about Deion high stepping in the dome and the Georgia Dome and everything like that. They don't really know about him going from San Fran to the Cowboys, and then both of them winning championships both places. They don't know nothing like that. They just see highlights and they just see the praise that number 21 has. But it's the guys that's in our age and the guys that are older than us who kind of can say, okay, well, Deion is a good spokesman. I feel like if Deion Sanders was to put together an all-star cast, it would really benefit HBCUs. And this is my genuine opinion as growing up now, being an adult and more of a conscious black man. It's just like we give too much power as African Americans to a group of Caucasians that really don't have our best benefit. You feel what I'm saying? if college sports is majority of African American men way out. You know, like 75% of us grow up without our mothers.
I'm telling you.
So we turn to sports and the father figures in sports as our fathers and as our guidance to navigate through whatever we gotta go through.
Right.
But then we lose contact with that or conscious with that once we disassociate ourselves, whether we grow up in the city and we go to these big schools in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Hence, I mean, I'm from North New Jersey. I went to high school that was 99.7% black. I had 4 Puerto Ricans in my whole school. I had 6 white teachers and we had over 50 teachers.
Right.
So I always seen black. So when I go to school in the Mid-American Conference and I'm in a school where it's predominantly white,
I'm telling you,
culture shock.
Bro, same here.
Yes. So I feel like and then when you look at the team, only thing you have a connection with on people with the team is like we band together as brothers because we're all of a demographic.
Exactly.
So when we are putting on and performing, we are surrounded by nothing but the majority when we're the minority.
Right.
But we hold all the cards. They're not coming here to see a lot of people that are of a different color. Right. So we took our melanin and went to a HBCU where we belong.
Right.
Contracts there. We could bring Nike there. We could bring apparel deals there. We have a whole bunch of alumni. But HBCUs have a whole bunch of popular alumni in the music industry, fashion industry that can bring halftime shows, and then you can strip the power. You can really strip the power because the melanin is the power.
That's exactly right. Man, it's I talk that language. Like you said, I definitely think it's a power move. Just the Dion effect, just in general. Like like you already see him on national commercials with Subway, things like that. But people forget that he worked for the NFL Network and ESPN for 12 to 15 years. So he know those showrunners. He know those producers. He know the people that he need to set meetings with to pitch Jackson State, getting on ESPN2, getting on ESPN Plus, just having that bigger platform, getting different advertisement deals. He know exactly what to do. He been doing it. So like you said, the power is in black, and the people come to see us. All the athleticism and the explosions, all that stuff. People come to see us. So man, I think he a genius for real. And like you said, I definitely think it's a power move. They already got some top recruits recruited to them already. He's only been there a couple of months, man. So definitely powerful to see, man. Especially like you said, just having that PWI experience and understanding it. And like you said, going through that culture shift and learning how to navigate through that. Like I remember for me, man, it took me about 6 months to even feel a little bit comfortable in Iowa City, Iowa, in a 98% white state. Like it took me a long time just to feel a little comfortable because how we move from the Midwest. I'm from Ohio. You from New Jersey. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah, my little cousin Akron Wiley. I had to.
Oh, that's your cousin?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Conversations with him, man.
Yeah.
You know, when I was telling him about choosing schools and everything like that, I had told him my experience when I went to Kansas State, and I was just saying, like, I mean, I didn't know his offer range at that time, but I know when a big school came in, I know he was going to take it because he was a big time talent, still is a big time talent, and wanted to play the big time school. But I also threw at him like, yo, it's a different world out there, baby. Like,
the politics.
There, exactly.
Yeah,
it's politics, and then you know when you get out there, you have to adjust, you know, mentally, emotionally, because you know now that you're away from the nest, you're a man.
Yeah,
you know, so you know, like you gotta basically learn how to stand on your own too, provide for yourself. You know, yeah. So it's a different dynamic, and you know, he did a phenomenal job of adapting. You know, but it's just that, just basically going to somewhere different, man. People don't understand. It's just like it can make you or break you.
Yeah, it's a different experience.
Because you know, like I know, we seen a lot of people come to college and like
it didn't make it. Yeah.
Party their way out or flunk their way out because they couldn't stay in there or couldn't take the coaching and folded because they were put on the pedestal wherever they were at. You know, couldn't wait their turn, you know, because they didn't want to learn the game. So it's a
lot of different stories, That's
people
facts.
don't understand that. No, people do not understand
that. and that was the big transition for me. Because growing up, I was always coached by black coaches. So having to go to Iowa and be coached by white coaches, I could take tough coaching, but it was just some of the like hearing personal shit from a white guy, like that made, you know what I'm saying, that put me in an aspect where like, okay, let's take it outside. Like, let's, you know what I mean? Like, you know how we grow up. So, so that was hard to compartmentalize for me because you know how we grow up. It's like I never experienced that. Like this man saying something about Cleveland, saying something about Glenville, while he yelling at me like, man, like I really dog
It
you.
don't
Like
fly right. It don't
yeah,
fly
it
right,
just
man.
yeah. It's just a hard thing to, like, you know what I'm saying. It took me a while to balance that or accept it, you know, whatever you want to call it, man. But yeah, like you say, people
Definitely.
don't really understand what that's. It's so many different things pulling at you too, and you still trying to find yourself. You 18, 19, 20, 21.
Exactly.
You developing, you growing, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a hell of an experience.
Exactly.
Definitely. So let me dive in your childhood, man. Newark, New Jersey native, man. So one of my good friends, Mike Daniels, he's from Blackwood. Another good friend.
Big Mike, that's my
Yeah.
boy.
Oh,
Big
okay.
Mike, we played in the Governor's Bowl together, man.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
you know he used to play fullback.
He told me. He showed me clips.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna send you a link. When he was my fullback in the Governor's Bowl, man. He was like, he
Oh
was
wow, I didn't know.
He was like a supreme wrestler on top of that. And we lived
Yeah,
all in
all
the same.
state.
We all lived in it. We roomed together, but we all lived in the same, like, basically dorm room, because when we lived in the Governor's Bowl, Ruckus was empty. So he was in there like just whooping ass, like just like molding people.
Yeah,
like
dog.
The bigger you was, like the easier it was for him to just mold you up. Like, and I'm like, yo, I said, yo, he's supposed to go to Iowa to play fullback.
Yeah.
So him and I'm not sure if you know a guy by the name of Des Moses.
Bro, Desmond, that's my dog. That's who I was just about to bring up. Desmond, that's my brother.
Yeah, so we was all in the Governor's Board with the Iowa, you know, like son, Mike started having like this unreal success. Like this, he moved into the 3 and he just was unreal. Like, Mike, cool dude, man. Dad's a cool dude too.
Yep. Mike, Mike Thorough. I'm actually having him back on for episode tomorrow since he's finally in the off season. I've already had Desmond on too. But yeah, Newark, New Jersey native. I always felt like I gravitated towards New Jersey guys. I don't know. I just feel like we kind of from the same culture, being New Jersey and Ohio. So talk about, just paint me a picture on how it was growing up there in the 90s. We didn't have what the kids have now. It was no internet. It was no iPhones. It was no YouTube. It was none of that. We was really outside playing, interacting, doing things like that. So paint me a picture on how it was in Newark, New Jersey, because I know it's pretty dangerous too. Every time I see the top 5 most dangerous parts, you know, Cleveland in there, Jersey in there, Chicago, Detroit. Yeah. So paint me a picture on how that was in the 90s growing up.
So, like you said, it's always like I'm gonna try to create a parallel. So, like, I don't know what it is about, like you said, New Jersey and Ohio, but every time I've went to anywhere, like far as like a camp or anything like that, I've always connected with people from East Cleveland, you know, like it's always East Cleveland. So when I actually got the chance, take cousin Pootie, right? Edwin, I always mess his name up, but Pootie they had took me out there, and I swear to God, say when you speak to him, it felt like Newark, New Jersey. It felt just like Newark, New Jersey. It was like to the point where I felt comfortable to just pick up the crackhead bikes and start riding them and stuff like that. So it's like the environment. It just felt like home, you know. So you know, just being from a rough inner city, you know, you grow up and you got your spider senses for danger. You know, they're heightened because, you know,
every day
situation exactly. So just like my upbringing, you know, I can't really say like it was all bad. You know, it was my mother did the best she could with me and my older sister. You know, grew up without a dad, just like a lot of us. Sports really was like an avenue that kind of kept us off of the streets. But once we got older and we lacked guidance because we didn't have no male role model in the house, the streets became our fathers. So, you know, a lot of us, when football was over and we didn't want to play basketball or we didn't want to do whatever the case may be, like a lot of other kids was doing, we got introduced to certain things in the streets that took some of our friends' lives or put some of our friends in federal prisons who will never come home. So one thing about my neighborhood is that we always had, that we don't have a lot, and I don't know if it's the same thing in your neighborhood, it's like a lot of the good guys get told on and killed. And the ones that are liars and rats, they come home and they kind of like control the environment.
Wow.
So when I was growing up, we had a lot of older guys who would basically be like, hey, you got talent. You could play basketball. You could play football. I know you want to make your little money and whatever the case may be, you want to trap, but if you need anything, you come holler at me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got a future. You had the little bookworm dudes who you had the bookworm dudes who would just be into the books, and you know what? Don't bother him.
Yeah.
He don't bother nobody. I see somebody bother him, y'all got a problem with me. We had that type of guidance.
Yeah.
So when people saw that I had talent, it was more so I was running with the wrong crowd. But when they saw that I had talent, it was like they would try to navigate me away from it. And I didn't understand it at first. So it took me to lose one of my closest friends at the age of 18, to be like, yo, I really need to get away. Like, I really need to get away from this. So everything that like a lot of the older guys was telling me, it was kind of like they had my best interest. So I'm as I started taking advice, I never had a father, so my advice came from honest street guys, you know, guys who were active in the street, guys who had basically distanced themselves from the streets, or guys who I grew up with, who I still kept in contact via prison phone, and helped raise me into the person that I became, because everybody just saw like I had the ability. I had the infectious personality in the neighborhood, but sometimes I would basically be hanging with the wrong people or protecting the wrong people, and that kind of puts you in the middle of a jam when some of your friends want to kill some of your friends, you know. And it's kind of so it's those situations, and just to have those other ears in my voices in my ears, like, yo, you know what, like if that was your friend, he wouldn't put you in this situation. If that was your friend, he wouldn't do this to you. Like, so it's kind of like you started getting those people in your corner, and it kind of forces you to go into the right direction. And I'm just kind of happy that I listened to a lot of those men.
Yeah, that's powerful. Like you said, growing up without a dad, and you having to kind of navigate and yearn for information, but also having the word thought to know who to believe and who not to believe and things like that. I think, man, I had both of my parents in my life. I mean, they got a divorce when I was 10, but my dad was still really active. And man, I don't know where I would be without my father. Just all the lessons and all the game, really taught me how to read people, you know, at a really young age, who to hang out with, who not to hang out with, and
exactly
all the guys that he used to say when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, man, he gonna end up being in jail or being killed. Every single guy that he named out that I used to hang out with, like literally one of those two things happened. So it's like, man, I couldn't imagine having to navigate through that, you know what I'm saying, without a dad. But
yeah, man, it's frustrating at times, because it feel like, you know, growing up now, and you can attest to this as a man, you need that dominant force in your household. Like, you need that. Like, you need somebody to come home in fear. But at a certain point in time, you, like, I know as a man, like, your mother can't do nothing with you. I'm lifting weights, like I'm in the weight room getting right, like
right.
So my mother's 5'4", like, you know, like I like if I really want to get out here and do something, like, it's nothing you can do to stop me. Like, only thing you could do is what you did do. You know, you call my godfather, and my godfather, sad to say, I mean, he's a phenomenal dude, but he's a maniac. And like, my mother understood, like, I was scared of him because of his reputation. I respected his reputation. I respected him, and she knew a lot of honest guys like that. So those were the guys she had to submit in my life, because you know, as a young child, you know, once you hear about people's reputation, that reputation precedes them. And you find out that your mother is very, 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 very cool with these people. And these are people that the streets are praising. It's kind of like, oh, all right, I gotta listen to him. Like, I have to. Like, right. So, yeah, but you had the luxury of growing up, you know, with both people in your corner, and that's phenomenal. And look how you turned out, man. Like,
right, man. It's a blessing, man. It's crazy, because I used to look up to my uncle growing up, and he went away when I was probably like 8 or 9. He ended up doing 12 years. He was into some things that, you know, I didn't know about. I didn't find out until later. But it was weird, because like my parents would like try to keep me away from him. You know, I would try to like ask, like, you know, whenever he called home, could I talk to him? Because I really looked up to him. So other than my dad, I was yearning for somebody else to look up to, like, in my neighborhood. But when he went away, it was kind of hard for me to find that. And that's when I kind of started hanging with the wrong guys, getting in a little trouble here and there. Like, and obviously, like, probably towards middle school, it started to kind of become frequent. My grades started dropping, just all that kind of stuff. So I think it's definitely a journey just navigating through any inner city, man, because you being pulled in so many directions on what's cool, what's not cool, like, you know, getting girls and getting money and all those kinds of things, man. So, but like you said, we both turned out pretty solid, man. Let me ask you this. When for you, when did that like year come for you? Like, when you started maybe you had that growth spurt, or you got super fast, and you really started like killing in sports, and you started getting those college letters, and it really started to dawn on you, like, all right, maybe I could like probably go to college for this, because for me it was probably like 10th grade. You know what I mean? So when did that happen for you?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I mean, like, and I kind of wish I was in the car with my mother so she can tell you this. It happened to me when I was like literally my 8th grade year. I got a letter from Colgate.
In 8th grade?
I got a letter from Colgate, not an offer.
Yeah.
I got a letter from Colgate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
you was that
look,
guy.
So look, right then and there, like my mother didn't know what it was. Like we really didn't know what it was. We thinking Colgate, like we thinking it's the damn tube, like, but it had my name on it. Like it had my name on it. Yeah. So my mother took it to practice, and then like all of the coaches was just looking at me like, and then it was just like I didn't realize what I was doing because I was just having fun. Like I didn't. Right. I was at it like when I look back at it, or when my friends talk back about sports, it was like I realized when we won the championship, and I looked back at that whole 8th grade year, and it was like, yo, I'm like superior. It was like, and then when I went to high school, I started at high school as a freshman, and I put up 1,000 as a freshman. But I already had that mindset, like from 8th grade. It was like, yo, I'm better than everybody. But it wasn't like a standpoint to where it was like, I'm looking down on people. It was like,
yeah. It wasn't a superficial thing. It was just like, it was like, nah, I'm here. I'm nice.
Exactly. It was like, yo, because I didn't get that battery in my back into that letter. It was like, yo, a college wanted me in the 8th grade.
Yeah. And that'll put that battery in your back.
Yeah, I couldn't even go there. I got a letter from Colgate. I was in the 8th grade. It was like October or November that year, and it was just like we were so confused. They want me to come to the orientation and everything. We was like, what the hell? Like my mother was just shocked.
That's crazy. I've never heard anybody getting letters in middle school. You had to be that guy.
From Colgate. And then when I look back on it, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with a guy by the name of Will Hill. He played. He was coming out of New Jersey, and me and him played against each other. And like his name was Boo Boo at the time. That's like what they called him around the area. And it was like his side of town it was him, and on my side of town it was me. And we played each other. We played against each other.
Okay.
He had 5 touchdowns. I had 6 touchdowns. My 6 touchdowns ended up winning us the game. And then when we look back at everything, it was like, yo, I was averaging like 5 touchdowns a game. Like
killing. Man, I heard you say you went for a rack your freshman year.
Yeah, I went for a rack my freshman year on 163 carries.
Man. At 14, bro, like, man, that's
14,
crazy.
15, and then look, I got injured my sophomore year, and that's what kind of made me like.
That's when the femur thing happened.
Yeah, that's when that happened. It kind of like it shell shocked me because like I thought I was invincible.
Yeah,
I was coming into the season. I'm like super sophomore.
Yeah, you probably had never been hurt. Yeah,
never. I had the closest I think I had got to get hurt is when I had a quad contusion in Little League. Like, and that was like that was the closest thing. I never had no ankle, no knee, no bones, no nothing. So coming into the season, like I'm getting a lot of steam. Everybody's just like, everywhere I go, I'm getting like newspaper write-ups and all that stuff coming into the season, or like the team's gonna be led by me as a sophomore.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I'm feeding into it because I'm working out, I'm killing. This like one of the best summers prior to me rehabbing, but that's like one of the best summers I ever had. And I'm like, oh my, to kill this year. So coming into the game, first series of the game, I got injured, and I had four carries for 50 yards, and on my 4th carry, my good friend, my childhood friend, Jerome Murphy, he hits me late on the sideline and breaks my femur.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't imagine that kind of pain.
Yo, at first, the adrenaline, you don't really feel nothing.
Yeah.
So once you get that adrenaline, once it dies down, it's like, oh shit, like my leg broke.
Yeah.
Like my leg messed up. You taking me with you? Okay. I'm like, my leg broke, and then like I ain't realized, like I'm thinking like, I'm gonna be all right. My leg was spent around. I think it was like something was dislocated, but then we get to the hospital. We get like they hurry up and get me to the hospital. So now I'm panicking now. Like I'm panicking because like they weaving through traffic. Like they just like me, my mother, and my sister in the truck, and they weaving through traffic. We in an ambulance weaving through traffic. They take me to the hospital. They took me to the hospital and they told me how my leg was broken. Like I could have punctured like one of my arteries. So they had to take me and airlift me from that hospital to another hospital to get surgery. So once all of that, like once everything, like I got out of surgery and everything, it was just like I had that doubt, like, yo, I don't never want to play football.
hey, injuries will do that, bro.
I've never in my life had that doubt after that. But yo, I had that doubt because I heard everybody saying like, yo, man, I don't play football because they be hitting hard. I'm like, man, you got pads. Or I always say, because I used to wear every pad. I was like Eric Dickinson. I had the elbow pad, the hip pad, the tail pad, the knee pad.
The hip
you
pad.
Give me a pad, rib cage on. You give me, and the reason why I did that, because look, I was like my freshman year, I'm 137 pounds playing running back, starting varsity, and
that's crazy.
to make a
137,
parallel,
you was a small dude.
So to make a parallel, like imagine somebody playing that y'all Glenville D1, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Glenville D1, and I was playing in the conference. I was like Glenville, but imagine you had Glenville, you had Canton, you had Colerain, you had all of the best high schools in like basically in the area, all grouped. That wasn't Catholic and nothing like that. You had all of them grouped in a public conference. So we had the SEC at our conference. So I'm a freshman coming in there wilding, but I'm 137 pounds, and they was trying to nail me.
Oh, I already know. I came in my freshman year in high school. I was like 195, and everybody thought I was huge. Like you almost 200.
I was 195. I prayed.
Yeah. I can only imagine, bro. So talk about, man, your recruiting process. What went into your decision to, choose Toledo over I'm sure you probably had a lot of other offers. So what went into your decision? Did you have any offers like, that were closer to New Jersey? Did you have like a dream school? What was that like?
To believe it or not, my dream school, and this will make a lot of people laugh when I tell them this. My dream school actually was San Diego State because Marshall Faulk went there. Right?
Okay.
And then with me getting older, understanding sports, like I understand like at San Diego State, like they run the ball. Ideally that's my best situation because like as a running back, who don't want 25 to 30 carries and 7 to 10 catches? Like the offense runs through the running back.
Right.
I got like 1 or 2 letters from San Diego State, but this is probably before I realized how the recruiting process went. So I ain't really understand like that the recruiting process is like, like at that point in time, like your coach really gets the door open for you, but your talent kind of breaks the door open for you. So when I'm realizing that, I'm like, all right, so my coach not really sending out no film or whatever the case may be. And I'm kind of just like, a lot of people around me realize like other schools I didn't realize other schools were telling other schools about me. Because like when they would watch film on like say they're recruiting a linebacker and they were recruiting a safety or they're recruiting whatever, and they was like, who the hell is this kid 20? Like who is that number 20? And they were like, that's Adonis Thomas from Shabazz. That's Adonis Thomas from this. And it was kind of like they were putting other schools on me. And my coach at the time was a horrible coach because he wasn't really doing the job, because it was like I should have had way more offers than I had. I was getting letters, handwritten letters from Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, North Carolina State, North Carolina, like all big time schools, but my coach really didn't help me out.
Yeah, I remember Mike Daniels was telling me about that. He was saying how like back then, 2006, 2007, especially in Jersey,
it was hard.
Like he said like the coaches wasn't like they weren't really tapped into the college coaches. Like so you all didn't have your level of exposure was like it wasn't that high. And he was saying how he got one of like his junior varsity coach to help him make his highlight tape, and then he actually helped him mail the highlight tape out to all these different schools. That's how he started getting the few offers that he got. But he was like he really had to like build it from the ground up and like really do grassroots promotion, basically. Like
my mother, and I always tell a story that kind of like made me take football serious, because I was doing a lot of other stuff, and it was like football got put on the back burner and I got put in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I always tell people like it was a security guard from my school, and one day I was the man. So you the man in public school. You just gotta really show up.
Right.
Just show up to school, go to class, sign in, chill for a little bit.
Right.
So
you can do what you want. You can leave class, go to the gym,
exactly.
walk the hallways, do what you
every lunch period. You feel me? Like, so make a long story short, I'm cutting class in the morning, right? And I was never gonna go to a small town school because I always understood. Like they try to sell me because I was undersized that, you know, why be a small fish in a big pond when you could be a big fish in a small pond. So come play for Delaware State. Come play for fucking Lehigh. Come play for. And
that was their pitch, huh?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, right, right.
First time I cut class, like first day, like first period, I cut class, running to the coach from Delaware. He there early as fuck. Yeah. So I'm like, talking to him, whatever the case may be. And then he leave. And then the Ivy League school came in there. I know I'm not going to no Ivy League school because I don't have the grades to go there.
Right.
So they just kind of wanted to talk to me. You know, they just wanted to talk to me. And I think it was either Princeton. They orange. So Princeton, it was the orange school. They talked to me real quick. But when like my boy Speedy, he was in the library or whatever, and he pulled up my rivals. I didn't even know I had a rivals. He pulled up my rivals. And he showed me like Tennessee was interested in me. Like I said, medium interest. And I'm like, yo, I probably got one letter from Tennessee. Yeah. Why the head coach from Tennessee was he was in the film room basically watching my film when I was about to go cut class to go watch film in the film room. I'm in there with the head coach from Tennessee. Wow. And me and him just had like a real chop it up session. And it was like he was talking to me about because my sophomore year, they didn't do homeschooling in where I grew up at. So when I broke my femur, I basically had just sat out a year of school. So I had to play catch up. Yeah. So he was telling me like all of the JUCOs I can go to, but like when I saw how adamant this man was about getting me to Tennessee, I'm like, damn. And this is around the time when Tennessee was fairly decent, you know, like shit. Yeah. Eric Berry was there, Ontario Hardestry was there. They had a nice little squad, but I'm like,
I remember that run.
I'm like, this man really came into my school. Like, I'm like, oh, the head man. So that's when I really started to get the ball on track. And then right after that, me meeting with him, my old running back coach, Andre Taylor, his first cousin was Raheem Morris, who was the head coach for Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a little bit. Now he's the interim head coach / DC. Yeah, now he just got on with the Rams, but he was at Kansas State at the time. And when he saw my tape, he just jumped on it. He's like, yo, I'm offering him. I don't want nobody else to get this kid. Okay. So then I go out and me and him start talking and everything cool. And I'm like, and that's when the recruiting process started to get annoying because you had a whole bunch of schools just coming out of nowhere, you know, like Temples, like Rutgers tried to come in late. Temple came in, Toledo, Bowling Green, like Memphis. You started having a whole bunch of schools coming in, but it's kind of like I was looking at offenses. You know, I like football, so I'm looking at at that time Temple wasn't good. They had Al Golden was just getting a job, so I'm like, he told me he's like, yo, if you go to Toledo, we gonna whoop y'all ass every time we played y'all. So look, the first time he played us, they did whoop our ass, and the second time we whooped their ass. But now he had a good run out of there getting people drafted. Yeah. But I was looking at offenses, and then I was looking at Kansas State, what they had to do with Darren Sproles, and I'm like, yo, that's what I want to do. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah. So then when I went out there to Manhattan, Kansas, I just committed. I'm like, yo, cool, I committed. Florida backed off. Everybody just backed off me because I told them I was like, I'm going to Kansas State because I'm like, I love their offense, what they do with their running back. Right. Went to Manhattan, Kansas, me and my mother hated it.
It's nothing out there. I had a homie that went out there. It's nothing out there.
It. Yeah. When I say I hated it, bro, I knew it wasn't for me. When I learned that they had tornadoes and then they had underground passageways you had to go to class if it was cold out there, if it was a tornado warning, like
just the state of Kansas just seems kind of weird. Like,
the speed limit we was at was 75. That's when I knew I was in the middle of nowhere. Like, I ain't still to this day. I seen that probably one time in Michigan, but other than that, the speed limit was 75, bro. Yeah. And then I just really didn't like Manhattan, Kansas. So it was like when I fell out of that, it was like Temple tried to come back and swoop me, but I'm like, Temple is too close to home. Mm-hmm. And around that time, I knew like me being too close to home, I would go home a lot. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I need something that's gonna get me away. And like I'm looking at Memphis, I'm like, nah, that's too far. Then I was like Bowling Green, I'm like, nah, because I ain't really never heard nothing about nobody coming out of there as far as like running back wise.
Right. I know Urban Meyer used to coach there, but he was on there for like 2 years and he went to Utah.
But look, the quarterback, it was the quarterback, Brandon Jacobs. Whatever Jacobs, he got himself a position in the NFL, but not no running back. Right. And then with Toledo, I started like doing my research, and it's like, okay, all right, you got Chester Taylor, you had this dude named Wasan Tate, You had now Jalen Parmalee coming up. You had Trinity Dawes, a couple other guys that had some good some good runs or whatever when they was there. So y'all running back featured offense. So it was like I was like, all right, like this is the best bet. Then when I went out there, it was nothing but love. It was like a whole big family. Like it was a whole big family. The other places that I go, I had went to, and I'm not gonna speak on that because I don't really like know those guys. But other places that I went to, like far as like recruiting places, like they would talk about other dudes on the team openly in front of people. Like I'm like, yo, where's the privacy at? Like,
yeah, confidentiality.
Yeah, like and then you talking bad about another man, and then that man walk in, you dap him up, and it had my head all messed up. Like I'm like, yo, like I don't want to be out here. Like, for real.
So what was that trend?
What was that? And that's how I ended at Toledo when I had decommitted from not liking Kansas State. That's exactly how.
And went to Toledo. I got you. So I heard you would kind of expound on that transition, it being a culture shock. What was your transition like? Just kind of go into more details because, like we talked about earlier, you know, coming from the inner city and going to an all-black school and only having, like you said, six white teachers. I think I may have had less than that. Never really interacting with white people other than because I hoop too. So other than like talking trash on the court or talking trash on the field, like, you know, we used to play the white schools in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I never interacted with white people. So like you say, it was just a culture shock. And it took me a long time to start kind of getting used to. I felt like, because you know, we talk a certain way from Ohio, y'all talk a certain way from Jersey, but I feel like I had to like change my lingo. I couldn't say for show and it's going and just different ways I talk.
That's what I didn't do, man. But it's kind of like my culture shock like was more so the distance, you know, like because you grew up in the Midwest. Me growing up in the Northeast, you don't need a car for shit. Like you can really just navigate around. Foot, or before Uber, we had cabs. So it was like you could always get somewhere fast. When I moved to the Midwest, I needed a car. Like I needed a car. Like you have to have a car to survive.
Right.
Like you have to. So it's just like that was the first adjustment. It was like when I realized I'm like, yo, I'm on campus. When campus shut down, I have no way to get anything. Like, or I gotta try to wait till somebody going to the grocery store to fill up my little refrigerator in my room.
I'm about to say, did y'all have like, did Toledo have like buses that you could take around the campus or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah and no, because it's kind of like you got the little buses, but they be jam packed, and then they don't. And our campus ain't really too big, so it kind of like put you at destinations on campus. It's not gonna take you like nowhere. Okay, so let's say you need to go to like a store. It'll take you like to like the building that's like a 15-minute walk from the store. You gotta think about it. You gotta walk 15 minutes there. You gotta walk 15 minutes back and then wait for the bus. It's like I'd rather take my chances and not getting cool with some of these chicks who I know ain't on no scholarship, who need these swipes or need these books. Like,
bro, I was just about to say that, bro. me and my homie, bro, it didn't take us long. We was like, okay, like we started to learn the game. We like, okay,
for real.
So for us to get to Walmart and get to all these different places off campus, we got to start talking to women who got their own cars, who live off campus, like who could pick us up or let us drive it for a day or something like that. So we already kind of knew how to navigate that. Like, okay, I got to get to Walmart. Okay, I need to. Okay.
But my thing is, I had the same technique, but mine was never with the pretty girls. It was always the cool fat chicks because I ain't want to be seen with no pretty chick cars. She start catching feelings or whatever. So like, I always just like, and then the big girls. If you know you got unlimited swipes, like our meal plan was ridiculous.
Man, so, like, unlimited.
They only getting like what, 4 or 5 swipes.
Yeah, they not getting a lot.
So my thing is like, oh, all right, cool. Like, yo, you gonna take me to Walmart? Oh yeah. You and your friend, y'all can take my car to the lunchroom. Y'all can take my car here. Y'all can take my car here. Or you got me and you got the same class. Look, keep the book. Like, just basically just look when you do your paper, just not. So, like I ain't never had no pretty help. All my help was the ugly help because the pretty help come with too many problems.
Man, it always come with problems. You know that. It's never a smooth road.
The big chicks and the ugly chicks that know the friend zones thoroughly, they don't look. They give you whatever you want with no problems, man. No problems.
Right.
And they hook you up with the pretty girls too.
Right, right. I said before you jumped on, I said in your intro that you rushed for 2,578 yards, 18 touchdowns. What moments stand out to you during your Toledo career, man? Obviously a great career. Any moments like really stand out at the top of your head?
Um, I say at the shoe, we should have won in the shoe.
Oh yeah.
Like
Was
we
that
like
was T.O. y'all quarterback?
T.O. was he was swapping in. We had a dual
Okay.
quarterback system.
I remember
But
that. I remember y'all had
it,
a couple of y'all had like the yellow spat and like the yellow
hey,
wrist.
yo,
I'm
we
like, man,
came
they
in
out there
there,
saucing.
bro. Look, we came in there, and like this is I tell like I trained with Dan Herron, I trained with DeVere Posey, and a couple of little like they real cool guys.
Boone. That's my guy. We played against Warren Hart in high school.
And,
that's my guy.
oh yeah, Boone, like Boone, a real good dude, man. Got a good heart, man. That's a good guy. And
Definitely.
I was trying what's the dude name? Because Mike Daniels and the dude Paul, they came in like once or twice, but they was training out of state a lot. I think in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, before Boone went down to Florida too. But I'd be telling like, yo, if we like no bullshit, if our quarterback was probably like a year older, we would have mopped the floor with y'all, bro.
Yeah, because I remember y'all was banging with him like for like the first like 3 quarters, right? But then they blew it open in the fourth or something like that.
Nah,
I remember watching the game.
This is what happened. We lost 27-22.
Okay.
So the only key play that they really had, and this is my guys on this pain, they had a punt return, but it was 2 clips on that punt return that didn't count. I mean, that they didn't call, so they gave him the punt return.
Yeah.
But our one turnover as we were driving the ball, we turned the ball over one time that game, and they had 2 turnovers. No, they had 1 turnover and we had 1 turnover. But to 1 turnover, it was on a drive. Like we was driving down the field, and they really couldn't move the ball through the air like that. Like they was trying to keep it on the ground, but we was doing a good job of stopping the run. They was trying to be aggressive and blitz. They know we had a running quarterback and we had a throwing quarterback, so they was just trying to just send the house. We just kept screening them to death and kept running crossing routes, man beaters and stuff like that. But T.O.,
my boy,
he made a rookie mistake, and I mean he was
young. Like a freshman. Yeah, he was like a freshman, sophomore.
Yeah, now he's a sophomore, but he's young. I mean, you young. You play in front of 117,000 or whatever the case may be.
Sure,
you getting your
I played in
going.
there. I played in there.
You getting that momentum going. You got a couple little drives. You got a couple little completions underneath your belt. Now you feeling yourself.
Yep.
Stick to the game plan. Stick to the game plan.
What did he do? He threw a pick or he fumbled?
He threw a pick, but he tried to squeeze it. He tried to squeeze a ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you could have just threw the 5 yards. You never go broke making a profit. That's what our offensive coordinator always say. So take the 5. I'm right there. I'm wide open. Take the 5. Just dump it down. All else fails, hit your check down.
Yeah.
He was living in the moment, because if look, the ball would have got through, it was a huge play.
Yeah.
So know you gambling.
Lucky lefty with that gamble.
That's what I'm saying. Look, you gambling with the whole team future if you don't make this throw. Yeah. You made that throw, and then they would go down and they score on the drive. Like you made that throw, they picked it off, got like a little 25-yard return, and then they go on the drive and they score. And then we score again, but it's kind of like if we would have got 3 on that, they wouldn't have got that 7 that easy. They would have to drive the whole distance of the field that are only going in from the 40. You feel what I'm saying?
What year was that? That was 2010, 2009?
I was 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, and we should have beat them, man. When we looked at the film, though, we had a lot of young people playing, and they did phenomenal. But experience is the best teacher.
Exactly.
You got to be out there to be in certain situations to understand when fatigue set in, how to suck it up and still get the assignment.
Exactly.
Because like wherever you at on the field, you got a job, you got a man. Like even if you playing defense, you got an area. Okay, don't just play an area, play a man. Like if somebody coming in, you got to read the offense, you got to read whatever you got going on. Yeah. But you got young players out there, you just throw them into the fire. That's a big stage.
Exactly. And people don't really understand that. Like me, because I had Mike Daniels on for I think episode 12, and then we doing another episode tomorrow. But people don't understand when you had those young guys out there. We remember me and Mike Daniels senior year, we lost a lot of games. I think we ended up being 8-5, but we lost a lot of games because we had some young linebackers, and these guys ended up being draft picks and still playing in the league now, like playing tomorrow. but they was 19 out there playing and didn't really know what they was doing. And so we lost a lot of big games, like close in margin, maybe 2 or 3 point loss because they didn't know what they was doing. So having those young guys out there, obviously, is good experience for them. Like you say, experience is the best teacher. But like you say, you're playing for a team and you playing for your seniors, you know what I mean? And so yeah, that was kind of tough to navigate through.
Definitely,
but yeah,
man.
I remember playing in the shoe, man. We played Ohio State for the Big Ten championship in 2009, and we lost by a field goal to overtime. But I just remember having, I'm from Ohio, so I'm sure T.O. probably had 50, 60 people there. I had 50, 60 people at the game.
Oh, yeah. Them Cleveland, look, everybody from Cleveland. And this is my thing, yo. And you can attest to this, bro. I hate when people that don't play just want your tickets. Like, bro, look. I don't care if your family, that's the dream to come to Ohio State, whatever case may be. Look, I know if I'm out of town, I'm using my tickets, bro. Like,
right.
Like, and they will hound you, bro. Did your people call you? Bro, you like what you want your people to come up here for? Take pictures? Like, tell them buy a ticket. Like,
right, man, bro. To this day, I tell people ask me all the time because I played in every Big Ten stadium, Miami, everywhere. They always ask me what was the loudest stadium, and I think the Big House sit like 122,000, but it's still the shoe, man. When they made that field goal to go to the Rose Bowl, win the Big Ten, go to the Rose Bowl, we ended up going to the Orange Bowl. When I say that was the loudest, like my ears was ringing for probably like the next 3 hours, man, from the screams and how loud it was. But the shoe is just a different place to play in, man. Like people don't really understand it unless you played in it, like unless you played in front of that crowd. But it's just a different experience.
I think with me, I played at we played at Michigan 09 when we beat Michigan at the Big House. We did the shoe that season. But I still think to this day, and people like, and maybe you know another couple other people that can vouch for this, Boise State, bro.
Oh, y'all played at Boise State? Boise State was crazy.
It's loud as hell, bro. Like,
real.
And it'll shock you because it's an open stadium. But the loudest part is like when you going, like, of course, it's like going toward the student section or whatever the case may be. But it be so loud and then it only be like 40,000, 50,000. Like 40, 50,000 people. And it's like, yo, we played at Kansas when Kansas was number 5 in the country, when they had Aqib Talib, they had Briscoe, they had
a squad.
Kyle Reese was the quarterback, and they ended up almost winning. They won a Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl that year.
I remember that year.
They won an Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
That was loud. But Boise, oh my God. Like, I did not expect that, because when it was empty before we came out.
Yeah.
We came out, it was packed to capacity, like shoulder to shoulder, like really shoulder to shoulder. And they had it rocking in there, bro. Like, they had it rocking. I still to this day don't understand how that stadium is that loud. And they expanded it, but there's nothing else to do out there. So
that's
like nothing else to do. During the football season, the people was nice, the potatoes was good, but that stadium was loud. I put that, and I put the shoe. Like, it's either the tie between that and the shoe.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's tied, bro. Like, surprising how that sound, bro. It's like
that's dope. That's dope that you got that Boise State experience. Because every time I watch a Boise State game, I always hear the commentators talking about it, like, with the different colored grass and just how enthused the fans are. So for you to have that experience live in person, that's very, very valuable, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, talk about. I think we were in the same draft. You came out. You was 2012 draft or 2013?
12.
Yeah. So we came out in the same draft. Talk about your draft experience. Did you train in Toledo or did you train somewhere else? Were you hearing from a bunch of teams during your draft process? I know you signed with the Browns and had a super good preseason with the Browns as well. So just talk about that process. Give me an inside look on draft day, because draft day for me is a day that I literally hate reliving. Like it.
Word.
It shifted my mindset. It shifted my world. It shifted my world going through that, man. So just give me an inside look on your draft experience, and then signing with the Browns, and just those first 6 to 8 months in 2012, training and then getting drafted, and then not getting drafted, and then signing the PFA, and just all those things. Give me an inside look on that.
So basically, before I had broke my arm my senior year, like versus Syracuse. But going into that, like, I'm up for the Doak Walker Award. I'm on a watch list and everything. I got a 2nd round draft grade, so now all I got to do now is stay healthy. Like I remember going into that summer, my coach was like, and this is still why he was one of my favorite coach. Well, he's my favorite coach to this day, Matt Campbell. He was like, look, the goal is to get you 1,000 and 1,000 and get you to be one of the highest drafted running backs out of Toledo.
Right.
Loved him for that, because I saw it from game 1 all the way until I got injured. It was like, if it wasn't in my hands, it was in Eric Page's hands. He's a Walter Camp All-American. So it's like the team is running basically through both of us. So I'm like, shit, let's get it. So I get injured. So then
did you know about the insurance policy guys be signing? Like the health insurance policy guys be signing?
Never knew nothing about that.
Yeah, see, I didn't hear about that until like my senior year, but it's like I think I've never seen a black person do it. I only seen white guys do it at Iowa. But like, if they supposed to be a high draft pick or maybe first 2 rounds going into that last year, that summer they signed some type of like health policy. So if they get hurt, they still touch like 2 or 3 M's or something because they draft stock gonna drop. But I had never heard or knew that until I saw that. But I only saw the white guys doing it.
Yeah, I never knew that. So I got 2nd round draft grade, everything going good. Then
I remember hearing your name. I was tapped in. Like anytime Toledo was playing, I mean, obviously I had Glenville guys, but I'm like, this running back, he an animal.
Bruh, I break my arm. So then I break my arm, I come back. So I battle all the way back to like a 6th round, basically a potential 2nd day, 3rd day pick. All right, cool. I understand. So then, no bullshit. I'll never forget this day. First round of the draft happening.
Yeah.
It's me, my mother, and my sister, and like my cousins or whatever. I was like, I don't want the embarrassment of everybody saying I get drafted, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget this. We sit down. The draft comes on. Tampa Bay got the pick, right? Why these motherfuckers called me, right? So now I'm getting a little teary-eyed and shit. They like, hey, it's Adonis Thomas. So I'm like,
oh, Tampa Bay called you, yeah.
look, this is the 1st round when they called me. Like, no, and they had the pick when they
so
called me.
So you probably thinking like, man, what, man,
hey,
never.
Yo, no bullshit. I was like, I had to keep myself from hyperventilating. I'm like, yo, this some wild shit. Like, this is some wild. So they go in the back and they was like, this is Adonis Thomas. So I'm like, yes, sir. They like, yeah, it's like, nah, we just wanted to make sure we had the correct number. Bro, when I say I was sick, bro, I was sick. Look, 2nd round.
I know you was sick, bro.
Eagles did the same shit the 2nd round, bro.
Man,
wow. Then look, Minnesota called me the morning of the 3rd round. I mean, the morning of the 3rd day. Minnesota calls me. I spoke to Minnesota. I spoke to Philly. Who I speak to? Chicago had contacted me. And then
they all called you to make sure they had the right number?
No, I'm talking about like different days. They was calling me, like saying if I'm still available. Like saying if I'm still available. Okay. So you know how the end of the draft hit, like everybody call you, want to give like the minimum for the free agent, whatever. Everybody call me, like, just come. So I'm like trying to like weigh my options and shit. I'm like, all right, so I mean, Philly is a good thing, but Philly has Shady in. Like, I'm like, hell nah. Like, who the fuck going up there? Like, you know what I mean? It's just a rot. Like, that nigga's he's unreal. I ain't going out there. So then I'm looking around, seeing my options or whatever. And then I look at Cleveland, and I'm like, yo, that ain't a bad look. I mean, they drafted Trent, but shit, they ain't got no change of pace back. So I'm looking at that shit like, oh, all right, I'm in a good situation. So I'm like, I take Cleveland. So I go to Cleveland, and then like I balled out, and then Mike Holmgren just pulled the plug on me. He told me like he basically made a scenario up in the war room. Like they had just drafted Trent Richardson. They had Montario Hardestry, Brandon Jackson, and Chris Ogbonnaya, and you know they're in the AFC North. And he made a scenario like, well, we're in the AFC North, and we play the Ravens, we play the Steelers, and the Bengals were good at that time. You know, the Bengals was winning like between 8 and 11 games or whatever.
Yeah, they was making playoffs every year. I remember that.
Yeah, so he was like, if Trent Richardson were to go down, would you trust a 5'10", 185-pound running back getting 30 carries a game? That was his scenario. And on top of that, he was the president of operations at the time. He's like the president of the team. So where he said go, but he just wanted a big ass back that you just hand the ball to.
They
like,
always come up with bullshit reasons.
Yeah.
You know how that go.
He wanted Ahman Green. And then, like, I had terrible representation at the time, so his first option was like, yo, go to Canada. And I'm like, yo, I just rocked out in the preseason. You should be working the phones. He like, I'm just telling you, man, go to Canada, go to Canada. He just stopped working for me. So I had did my little Canada thing for like a little bit, and it wasn't really for me because it's not real football. Like,
who'd you play for in Canada?
My son was Saskatchewan, Edmonton, the Argonauts. Like, it was just like, it's not real football. Like, it's not.
The field is bigger. You got moving men before the snap. You got to line up a yard off of the ball. I tried out for like damn near every CFL team, so I'm pretty tapped in.
Yeah, it's horrible, bro.
Yeah. So, man, talk about after the CFL experience and all that, man. If you can remember, talk about maybe the day or the time period when you knew in your conscious mind that like you were done, that you were going to be done playing football. Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? I'm because I ain't gonna hold you, and I'd like to be honest on my platform. It was a bad day for me, bro. It was a bad fucking 6 months. It was a bad year for me. Just being so invested in the game. A 20+ year relationship. I started playing at 8 years old. Stopped playing at 28. Like a 20-year relationship. For me to say like, all right, it's done. I'm never gonna put shoulder pads on again. I'm never gonna put an helmet on again. It took a while for me to kind of reinvent myself and find out some other things that I was passionate about. That's how I got into the art. So how was your experience? Was it an easy segue? Did you know what you wanted to do outside of football, or was you kind of scrambling trying to figure out what you wanted to do?
I told my mother this. I had like a mini little Vontae Davis moment. It was Vernon Davis brother moment.
Yeah.
We was in camp, and I had just signed with the Argonauts, right? And one of my good friends, he's no longer with us. His name is Robert Eddins. He played for the Bills, and me and him and a good friend of my friend Carson Butlers. But Robert Eddins, he was like, we kind of hit it off instantly. We out there, we talking or whatever, and we just was like at practice, but we wasn't at practice.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't care about nothing that was going on.
Yeah.
And then like we would get in for reps, and we just was like exercising. And then I realized like it wasn't really for me because it was kind of like the motions and then moving on, running on back and forth and everything. But the moment was like I was, I'm like when you on it, you finishing runs.
Yeah.
I mean, you closing out, hip tapping, or whatever it is, you closing on the hip, whatever it is you gotta do.
Yeah.
You just efficient. I got an angle route, right? And I literally started jogging.
On the angle. Like, and you know that angle route, you're supposed to be explosive to, you know what I'm saying? Cut out that.
No, I ran a good route.
Okay.
But the ball hit my hand.
Okay.
I started jogging after I caught the ball. This linebacker, and there's no disrespect to Division III players, but he could have been a Division III player at best. I'm jogging. He strips me, right? He strips the ball from me.
Yeah.
So the whole offense going crazy. And I just like started walking off the field like nothing happened.
So that's when you knew,
like, was like, yo, I'm just over this. Like, I'm just over this, bro. Like, I really had lost love for the game because it was like, yo, if I'm not doing it at the highest level,
right,
and I know I'm capable of doing it at the highest level,
right,
I don't even really want to be involved with it. Like, it just made me lose my love for it because it was like, this is what I'm reduced to. That's how I was looking at it. So
right.
I just was like, you know what? I got a degree for free.
Mm-hmm.
I got a whole bunch of opportunities and connections, and it was like, I wasn't even sad about it. I was more so the saddest part was getting cut. That was the saddest part. But as far as like my football, just giving up on it was like when I was in Canada. It's just like I don't see how people could just go out and just saying I'm doing it for the love. Like I was never that. I saw it like I'm business minded. So I mean, when you're young, of course you're doing it for the love. Mom taking you to practice, dad taking you to practice, or whatever the case may be. Only thing you're doing is going out there having fun with some of your closest friends. But once you start climbing up a ladder, it becomes a business. You really don't have that many friends. You have basically associates, So because like that locker room changes so often. So you have people you cool with and everything like that. But it's kind of like I saw how much of a business it was, and I'm like, my agent not put me in a position to succeed. So now I got to fire this agent, hire another agent, then still go bounce around all these workouts, be on all these short lists, people calling you to see if you're still active or you still ready. And then just like, all right, well, we just gonna keep you on
Still in
standby,
shape.
not bring you in.
That's what I kept hearing. Every time my agent talked to teams, that's all they kept saying. Like, just stay in shape. He's on our list. Should injury strike, blah blah blah. So yeah, I know that talk. Yeah, man. So so what prompted you to get in the arts, man? Jobby Lobby 2 out right now. Go grab that if you listening or watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, look. So you gotta work with your Spanish. It's Javi Lobby.
See,
you know, in Spanish that J
Javi.
sound like an H.
Okay, Javi Lobby. Okay, I like that. I like that creativity. So yeah, what prompted you to get into creativity, man? Because like I was saying earlier, I feel like people always look at guys crazy when you an athlete and they know you as an athlete, and then you transition into the creative space. It be kind of like an energy, like what you doing in this creative space, but it's like I can be in this creative space. So like, what got you into that, and then how was that transition been for you?
That transition was kind of easy for me just simply because, like, if you talk to Tay, like, I've always had the ability to put words together. Yeah. You know, like I always, used to play around the locker room, rap and everything like that. But it always comes from a place of experiences because, like a lot of my I share a lot of my life with you because if I feel like you're my friend, I'm having certain problems in life, we can have certain conversations. So like a lot of I would say like 100% of my music is situation based because we have so much going on where I'm from, and I'm just addressing it for real. So it's kind of like I could basically be like the hood reporter. I could tell people that's not from where I'm from what's going on where I'm from.
Exactly. You
dress it up in a better
storytelling.
light.
Yeah, you storytelling.
Exactly. Yeah. Dress it up in a better light because in this era we have a lot of rappers or a lot of people who do music who have personalities. That's not really them. They might be on here with 100 Dracos, sold 100 bricks, and kicked in 100 doors or whatever. But when you meet them, you can honestly go off the vibe like, yo, that's not really you.
Right.
Like,
you can
you
tell.
Don't really do that.
You can always tell.
Yeah. Like you're a good guy. So it's like, why not be yourself? Like you'll be always respected wherever you go if you're yourself. You're gonna have people that like you for yourself. You have people that don't like you for yourself. But one thing people can always say that you're yourself. So it was easy for me to kind of like transition to that because it's kind of like, okay, like how I could put Tay in some of my songs, like me being in Open Pit in Cleveland, or me being in Omar's, or me being like, you feel me, like me being in that Kim's or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
I heard you mention 216 and Penny for your thoughts. I heard that.
Yeah, man. Cause I mean, like I'm saying, like my music and my lifestyle, like they one and the same. So it was easy for me to do that because it's like I'm just telling you my day. Like how we doing the interview right now, I'll go in the booth, I hear a nice beat, and then she'd be like, okay, cool. This beat made me think about this, or this beat made me think about that. Now I'm about to put you in the verse when I got a project coming out in about a couple weeks. I gotta relay like 2 songs, so now I'm about to throw you on there.
Hey, throw me on that joint. hey, that's what's up, man. Like I was saying earlier, the creative space is in general. I mean, like I said, I've been acting for like going on 3 years now, but that's why I came up with this podcast. Just because for years I kept trying to figure out, like, man, what can I do that's free? Because I know all these NFL guys, I got all these relationships. Whenever guys come to where I'm at, we always kick it, we text, we got a good relationship. But I'm like, what can I do that's free, that's authentic, you know what I'm saying, but it's valuable? And so I it took me years to come up with it, but I finally thought about it. Okay, I can do this podcast and I can get certain guys on. We can tell our stories, all this stuff. It's free. I'm not asking for no bread. It's time, it's conversation, it's authentic. And that's literally how I came up with the idea. But not diving into the arts, not having an interest in storytelling and stuff like that, I don't think that I would have been able to come up with this. So I can really appreciate an athlete taking that grind and that tenacity and that ferocity and putting it into the creative realm. Because a lot of artists, really creative people, they're so creative, but they don't have what we have from the athletics. They don't have that consistency. They don't have that selflessness. They don't have that
they don't understand
tenacity. That. Yeah, they don't understand what that is. So that's why I feel like,
you know what it is. Like how you said it, you had to find something that basically you were naturally good at.
Yeah.
You know, because all you like, and it's dope that you're doing this because all you're really doing is connecting different locker rooms.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, there's a whole bunch of different locker rooms. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You was in this locker room talking to this person because you're not there to speak for it, or you're talking about this mindset or this person. So like it's dope to do that. Exactly. And like also how you said like it's just something that you're naturally good at.
Right.
Like it's just authentic. What you're doing is authentic. It's not watered down. It's not diluted. And your athletic background helps you. Just be consistent at it. Help you stay motivated and do it.
Exactly.
Because like one thing about having a good coach, if a good coach see you got some talent that he can get the best out of you, he gonna keep pushing you. But you also got to learn how to use that motivation on your own. Is what you're doing. Being dedicated, honoring your commitments and all that. Being punctual, same thing we had to do, like the same thing we had to do.
Exactly. And so, and that's why I just really appreciate these kind of journeys, man, because we have those, we have certain abilities that other people don't have, man. Definitely.
Oh, hold on, cause my phone about to die, LeBron.
Okay. I just got.
I'm on 3%.
I got one last question, man, and I'm sorry we've been chopping it up for so long.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just got one last question.
Okay.
What would you say is Adonis Thomas's after effect from 20 plus years of playing sports, the injuries, the wins, the losses, the travel, the win, the successes, the failures? What were some lessons that you learned that you would take and you would ingratiate into the next generation, you ingratiate into your family, just as we try to push the culture forward?
One of the biggest lesson that I learned is like always treat people with respect because you never know where that person will get to in life.
Mm-hmm,
I've seen head coaches treat assistant coaches like nothing, like embarrass them. Equipment managers treat them as if they were beneath them. And now these people that they treated that were beneath them,
they winning.
They're winning. I've seen teammates who were superior to other teammates as far as like skill set disrespect people in locker rooms. And now you need this man to try to put you in a position to get a job.
Right.
Now you need this man to network with and stuff like that. Or even business venues where you used to go to certain bars and disrespect people and everything. Like all that stuff comes full circle.
Always.
So it's always about how you treat people. I've always learned like from sports, treat people with respect and honor your commitments. That's the best thing I could teach anybody. That's one thing I always pride myself on. I always treat people the way I want to be treated. And if I say something, if I say I'm gonna do something, I always follow through.
Definitely, man. And that's a powerful after effect. Treating everybody with respect because it always comes around full circle. So I appreciate you carving out the time, bro. That's actually all I had, and we will continue to try to stay in touch, man. Continue to build.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, man. You got a dope setup. And anytime you need me to come back, I'm all for it, bro.
Hey, we gonna do it, man. I may have to do like a Jersey round table with you, Mike, and Dez, man, and we kick game and knowledge.
Up, man. I get love out there in Cleveland, man. I tell Tay I'm coming to town.
All right, okay, bro. Well, take it easy, man. Happy Saturday, and y'all be safe, man.
All right, same to you, bro. All
right, peace.
All right.
Yeah, guys. So I appreciate you listening to episode 43 with Adonis Thomas. Obviously, you can tell he has a super powerful story from the mean streets of Newark, New Jersey, and then the University of Toledo, and then playing for the Browns, and then playing in the CFL for several teams, and then now he's an artist. Go grab his music on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your music from. Right now, his latest project. I'm Hobby Lobby too. I said it wrong earlier. Just a super dope conversation. Like I said in the last episode, we're almost done with merch. Still working on the Patreon account. Still trying to get over the nerves of actually physically selling something and making a profit and just all those kinds of things. Just being honest, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. So yeah, to the next episode. Peace. Subscribe to LSD TV to become an official member, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day We are better than yesterday. Subscribe.